What's happening, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Grand Hotel by Jubilee Custom Shop. The Grand Hotel is a fantastic preamp pedal which is super versatile from my testing. It allows you to go from crystal clean tones all the way up to soaring lead tones and pretty much anything in the middle as well. All of these pedals from Jubilee Custom Shop are handmade in Taiwan. They each feature nice, simple and sleek designs that are really kind of aesthetically pleasing and that will fit into kind of any pedal board, which is great. One thing I do love is the hand-painted design on this pedal. I think they've really smashed it out the park while keeping it super simple but interesting. As you can see, we've got 4 controls on the pedal here. We've got the input and output and the saturate and EQ controls as well. One nice little touch that I think most people will appreciate is that these pedals are numbered, given that the fact that they're handmade. That's something that a lot of people do when they hand make pedals. Again, really nice touch here. All of the pots and knobs feel fantastic, nice and smooth, no kind of inconsistencies when you're using them, and the foot switch feels great too. So now we're going to dive in and have a mess with the pedal and see what sounds we can create. Okay, so taking a look at the pedal then, we've got output, input, saturate and EQ. I've put all these at kind of a 12 o'clock position or there or thereabouts, just so that we can kind of see how this pedal affects the signal when it's all just set to 12 o'clock. I'm running this through a 65 Deluxe amplifier on my QC, which is a clean amplifier, just so that we can hear the difference that this pedal makes to a clean signal. So I'm going to play the clean signal now for you, just so that you can get kind of an idea of what it sounds like, and then I'll engage the pedal so that you can hear how that affects the signal. So as you can hear then, that's a really usable sound straight away, and everything's just kind of set at default at 12 o'clock. So let's just go over what the individual controls do. So your output is your master, essentially, for this pedal. So we can turn it all the way down. Quite self-explanatory there. The input here is actually kind of the clipping element of this pedal. So kind of what I use this for is when I'm using the saturation, I'll drive the saturation quite up, and then I will add input into the mix a little bit more, just to kind of get a bit more kind of a heavier gain tone. So I'm just going to demonstrate how I would use this personally. I'm going to keep the saturation where it is, and then you can kind of hear the difference as I move the input up incrementally. So I feel like the input there, you can kind of hear what that does with the pedal. It does add more kind of like low-end body to the overall tone, which is nice, especially if you're looking for that kind of thing. Okay, we're going to move on to the saturation element of this pedal now. So I'm going to pop the input actually down quite a bit. I'm going to drop this saturation all the way to the bottom here and then just play through some chords, and we're just going to listen to how the saturation affects the sound. And then what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to pop the input in probably to around about 12 o'clock, just so that we can hear the difference when the saturation is all the way up and we're introducing that input stage of the pedal. You can kind of hear there where the amp is kind of starting to struggle with the amount of level that's coming through there. So you've got all the saturation all the way in, as well as the input really starting to drive up there at that kind of, 3 o'clock position. It is going to start to overload and kind of not sound too great. So you can dial it in for a sweet spot there while retaining kind of all of the clarity of the signal, but it is something to kind of look out for. Okay, and finally, we're going to have a look at the EQ section of this pedal. So I'm going to dial in a nice distortion tone using the pedal, and then I'm going to sweep through the EQ just so that you can kind of see how it affects the signal. So as you can hear there, mainly sits around that 12 o'clock position for myself. That's kind of where I prefer it. But you can use it kind of pushed further into the kind of after 12 o'clock or before 12 o'clock position, and you're still going to get some really usable sounds. It is obviously going to become either too harsh or too dull, so it is kind of just for general tweaking. There's not too many particular parameters with this EQ, with it just being one knob, but it does the job perfectly. So we've seen what all the controls can do and how this pedal can kind of be utilised in different ways. I now want to show you some demo excerpts that I've done, just so that we can see this pedal more in context rather than just isolated on its own. So as you can see then, a fantastic pedal here. Personally, I haven't really been able to put it down. It's been connected to my Quad Cortex for the past week or two that I've had the pedal, and I've constantly just used it, mainly in a set and forget position, because I think it's just a great kind of tone to have there on the patch on the QC. So yeah, highly recommended from me. I think there's nothing really that I would improve on the pedal. I think it looks great, it sounds great, it does what I need. I think a lot of people would be able to find this pedal really useful on their board. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, really do appreciate it a lot. Please make sure you like and subscribe, and let me know down in the comments what you think of this pedal. Do you think it's something that you could see yourself having on your board? And what were your favourite tones? Let me know, and I'll see you guys next time.